Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to Tools for Everyday Living. I am your host, Dr. Stacy Bullock. Woo! It is another wonderful Free Your Mind Friday. I know some of us couldn't wait to get to the end of the week. Well, you're here now. And you're watching one of the best programs being aired now. Tools for Everyday Living. We got a special show for you today. The power to change the way you love yourself. We so caught up sometimes in loving everybody else and we forget to love us. And sometimes that might be because we just don't quite know how, or we don't know why. We don't have the maturity level yet to understand how important it is, how it causes us to thrive and function every single day in a harmonious space while we're here on earth. We got to know how to love ourselves. It's so important. But we got to come to a place of maturity. I think about something that Paul said, and he said it that when I was a child, I thought as a child, which means that I acted as a child. My behaviors showed childlike behaviors. But when he became more mature, more spiritually mature, and because we're spirit beings, we need to have some spiritual maturity. He was able to now think as a mature person, someone who is able to reason with logic, someone who is able to tell ourselves the truth when we need to show more love to ourselves, when we need to show more love to others, but we can't do that without loving ourselves. So we have a great guest here today. She is going to help us learn how to love ourselves. And I hope you're listening. And I know this one show is not going to give you all the tools that you need to learn to love yourself. But I guarantee you are going to have a full plate. So without further ado, I am going to bring on my guest. And for those of you who have been watching me at the for the last maybe 6 or 7 months, not that long, maybe 4 months, you see a new way that I'm introducing my guests. And I think I did it the first time I did it was with this guest that we have right here today. And our wonderful guest here today is Coach Andrea Lee. But I want you all to listen to this first and then give us a little 5 seconds so we can give her her flowers while she's listening. And then we're going to bring her right in here in the studio with us. But Coach Andrea Lee.
Writer, publisher, poet, coach, chef, facilitator, and innovator. Coach A. Lee is a dynamic and multifaceted professional with a passion for helping individuals discover true love within themselves. As one of the driving forces behind Creative Love Network, Coach Lee is committed to providing unique and engaging experiences. Creative Love Network is deeply involved in the LA community. Coach Lee also is a board member of the Los Angeles Poet Society as their president. As an accomplished author coach, Lee has written several books across various genres, to include her newest one, The Power to Change the Way You Love Yourself. She has published a children's book and a collection of poetry titled Connections Between Us, and has appeared in multiple anthologies. As prolific poet coach, Lee has performed and featured on many platforms throughout the Los Angeles area. In addition to her literary and community work, Coach Lee provides education in the areas of anger management and emotional intelligence. She is a proud mother of 4 children and 1 granddaughter. Coach Lee believes we all have a voice and continually empowers others to find their inner strength and express their unique voices.
Coach Lee.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. You know, we family now. It's we stuck together for forever. It's always a pleasure to have you and have you come and share. We get ready to talk about your dynamic book that you have here, the power, the power to change the way you love yourself. We need power. You know, I was going to start out with, tell the people about yourself, but I don't want to miss this moment that I'm feeling right now. Can you talk about what power are you talking about?
So, just the power that we have within ourselves. So, we take on so much in our lives, and what we learn about is from everyone else, right? It starts with our parents. If we have a one parent household or a two-parent household, if it was trauma in the household, dysfunction. So, we learn that we have to depend on other people, and we don't have that power. We have that power with everyone else in our jobs, in our education, in our relationships. So it's about taking that power back and learning how to relearn what love is for ourselves and by ourselves first.
Wow. Relearn. Because we came here with love.
Hmm.
We came here filled with love, and all of a sudden life showed up and tainted it.
Yeah.
Well, do me a favor, since I kind of skipped the first thing I was going to say. Now tell us more about you. We heard some small snippets in the video, but you can go, more in depth for us because it's so exciting.
Okay. First, I'm a mother first. I am a coach, a chef, a community innovator. I really love my community and doing things for my community. I've worked in community based programs for over 20 years with underprivileged youth, with homelessness, and just helping people realize that there is hope in
Mm,
who you are and finding that who you are. I believe that everyone has a gift, and they just have to tap into that gift. So I'm a strong believer in community. I am the CBO of Creative Love Network, which is a great organization that I partner with Larry Love and Miss Diane, two dynamic individuals, and it's just really heartwarming to find people that you can mesh well together and just have this vision like you guys are always on the same page. No bickery, nobody feeling like they're bigger than the other person, just working smoothly to make our community and even ourselves and our families a better place.
mm-hmm.
Um, I also teach anger management and parenting, writing workshops. We're going to do some conferences with the book, The Power to Change the Way to Love Yourself. I work with another organization called it's BDIPS, Better Days Integrated Services, with my good friend Daryl Sewell and his wife, Shantae Sewell, and they do a lot of great things for the community. So that's a little bit of who I am, just about self healing, self love. And I think that I was put on this earth to be a service worker, so I'm here to serve the people.
I'm so happy you said that. You were put here on this earth too. Now, y'all out there listening, you have to fill in your own too. Coach Lee has found her too. And we're here today so that you can either one get on the journey of finding yours or get a more solid footing on finding yours or elevate what you already have. Because I find that everybody has to grow. As long as we're here breathing, we should be growing. I made a comment the other day. I said, you know what? There are some billionaires who haven't stopped working. So that tells me that there's always opportunity for us to grow. So I'm so happy that we're here learning how to grow more and learning it through loving ourselves. Um, when I lived in California, I used to go to this place called Signal Hill, and there was a place called Discovery Well. And when I went there and saw that, I knew at that moment I was in the right place because I felt like while I was there, I was discovering more of who I am. And tell us about why it's so important to discover who you are.
Well, working in social services for over 20 years, you find a lot of people struggling with who they are, trying to fit into every different thing, and they just get lost. So I feel like it's important to know who you are. So when you're in different situations, you want become a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So with me, I I accept everybody for who they are. I think that's important without judgment. Right. So I'm gonna be me. And if I feel like, you are who you are at this moment, but you can try to make yourself a better you. I don't care if you did drugs in the past, if you gang banged, if you lied, if you cheated, whatever you did, you can become a better person. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to
Mm-hmm.
tap into that. And sometimes people don't have those people to motivate them to do that. Right. So we're all searching for what we think we're supposed to be, or what's the hottest thing, what's the latest trend. So everybody jumping on these bandwagons instead of being who they truly are and true to themselves. And that's a lot of times when the mental health comes in. Like you get to a breaking point because you feel lost. You don't feel like you belong anywhere. I hear a lot of people, successful people, saying that, oh, I don't belong in these circles. I don't deserve this. I don't know why I'm here. Why do you feel like that? So in my
Mm-hmm.
office, I ask this question all the time: who are you? And
Mm-hmm.
people, oh, well, can you come back to me? I have to think about it. Or that's a good question. Can you come back to me? Why do we have to think about who we are? Why we're uncomfortable with talking about ourselves and giving ourselves self praise, right? And
Mm-hmm.
feel bad for self care. And our employers make us feel bad for taking off a couple of days. And then it seems like, oh, you're not dedicated to us. But I need to be dedicated to myself first, right? So,
Exactly, for sure. I always, when I was a supervisor, I would say to the staff, you're I can't replace you. Yes, another body can come in here and do the work, but you are uniquely you, and
exactly.
no one can replace you. And I believe that that helped some of them probably more than they knew, because it gave them a sense of, like you said, belonging. If it was just that they belong in that particular group that we were in, the it was the secretarial office, legal secretaries that I supervised, and so that was, I would say, that would be the group within a group. And so it does, it makes a huge difference whether people feel like, whether we feel like we belong or not. It's There's evidence that shows that we need to feel like we belong to something, and unfortunately sometimes people, like you mentioned earlier, gang banging, that will draw a person in who wants to feel like they belong. But I'm so glad that there are people like you out here who come and show a different aspect of love. And we're going to take just a little break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about, this kind of segues right into what I was getting ready to say. Now we talk about navigating through pain, the pain that comes when we don't know who we are.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to something really soon.
Dr. Stacy Bullock is the CEO of Power in Resilience Workforce Development and Coaching Agency and the author of 5 spiritual healing books. She is a 2-time #1 best-selling Amazon author. Dr. Stacy has been creating compelling and inspiring written art since the age of 10. To date, her published literary art, which started with Beaten Oil and Don't Let Your Brain Go Numb, Regaining Power Through Resilience. She wrote a chapter called The Healing of My Heart in an anthology titled I Am My Sister's Keeper, which went #1 on Amazon as well. Next, her book Recognizing the Stranger in the Mirror was also a #1 best-selling book on Amazon, and now she has written another captivating, life-changing book titled Are You Present? All of Dr. Stacy's books may be purchased on Amazon. She can also be reached at stacy@powerandresilience.com. Visit powerandresilience.com for workshops and speaking engagements.
I'm a speaker of the Word of God. I am a life giver. I am a life igniter. And you too have a purpose and the will of God to fulfill today. God bless you.
All right, just like that, we are back. Told you it was a short break, short break. So let's talk about how to navigate through pain, especially when pain comes from people who not supposed to give you pain, like our family members or our friends, siblings.
Your significant other. But navigating pain through pain is acknowledging it first, right? And understanding the source of the pain and allowing ourselves to feel and process it. So it's a crucial thing. And you have to have compassion with yourself during this time. And it's very important to make sure that you know that it's okay to be upset when someone hurts you. You know, it's okay to feel that. And then during the process, you want to seek support when needed. Pain can be a powerful teacher. And we learn a lot of things from pain situations, helping us grow and become more resilient when we face it head on. And we just have to make sure that we can lean on some people that we trust. And that's not going to continue to throw it back up in our face, because we cannot heal from the space that we were hurt in, that we got sick in. We have to understand that sometimes in life we have to move on and just let people go. And you'll see the elevation in your life once you do that, because it's heavy and you become lighter when you let all that baggage go. And that's meaning a job, a significant other, and sometimes your children for a little while, you know, and it's tough because everybody has their own journey in life. You have to recognize that. You can't always be the fixer. You know, you can't always continue to be the giver, and they just take from you. And then what do you have left? Right? And you become sick mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically, because you break down those different parts of your life, and you just have to get back to you. And it's all comes back to self-love, just now acknowledging the pain and the suffering that you went through, and knowing that it's not your fault, and you can't get through this with self-love and self-compassion.
Absolutely. That deserves this. Yes. Oh my goodness. It's nothing like self-love when you come to the realization that you need to do it. You said that word earlier, and I actually wrote it down, realize. Because a lot of people, I find, they don't even realize that they're in so much pain that their behaviors, when they show up in the world, looks totally off kilter. And
It's tough because in my life, that was really painful, was I didn't understand like why my mom didn't love me. You know, why she allowed so many things to happen. Like, how could you do that to your own child that you birthed? And then I started thinking, like, did I even come from her? It's just like my real mom. And you have all these questions, and then you want to prove yourself to this person. At some point, you got to be like, I don't have anything to prove. I don't have to be in this relationship and we're going to continue to get hurt over and over again. I don't have to be disrespectful either. I could just let it go and move on. And what did I learn from this? That just because somebody is your blood, even if they birth you, that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed that they're going to love you. But you do have to find that self-love within yourself and figure out how are you going to get over this emotional hurt, because it is painful, very painful and hurtful.
And that's where you start, I think, when you said earlier, to recognize, to pay attention, I say, to the pain, not give it so much credence that you allow it to take over your life, but acknowledge that it is there. Because if you don't acknowledge that it's there, you saw the commercial a few minutes ago, the book that I wrote called Don't Let Your Brain Go Numb. That's what I meant. We will go numb in life because of life issues,
Yes.
and we won't feel, but we have to feel. It's necessary to heal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm glad that was recorded. But it is so necessary, because when you don't feel, you can't distinguish between what emotion you're going through.
Exactly.
So all of them become the same, and most of the time it's angry.
Or
And
self-medication, and that's not good either.
that's not good either. No. You mentioned a couple of times about letting it go. And I know people hear this every single day.
Yes.
And they probably wondering, how in the world am I supposed to let this go? This pain is deep, especially if it comes from a parent or a spouse or a sibling. It cuts deep. How do we let go of that pain?
So, in my book, I have a lot of letters that we write to ourselves. Like I said before, we go through these things where we blame ourselves and we continue to force these square relationships into a circle. And that's not going to work. So, even with my book, it comes with an everyday journal, right? So, you journal all these things, it has all these exercises. And then I also have a workbook, right? So it's just not you going through the book and you have to read. I also have an affirmation book that you can say to yourself every single day. But I felt like it was important. I started writing this book in 2019 and putting it down and put it on Amazon. And I didn't know what I was doing. So it was just the ebook. And then I said, I have to get back to this and just continue the healing process, because I would get to a certain point in my life and get stuck. Like, why am I stuck? Why can't I move on from this place? And then being a counselor and a coach and talking to children, women, men, families, and in the field that I work in, and I'm like, I'm taking on all this extra secondary trauma when I'm not even dealing with the trauma that I have with myself. So how can I continue to help these people and love these people, even my children or my significant other and my friends, if I can't show up for myself every day? If I can't do that. And I felt like, well, if I bury this in the back of my mind, and I kind of had this thing where I just had a funeral in my head for these people, so now they're dead to me. Still seeing them in real life pop up. And I'm trying to ignore these things, but it's not working, right? We can say that, like, we could go pray. I believe in God. I believe in these things, but we have to, God gave us this thing that we can help heal ourselves. And sometimes people can't help us. The pastor can't help us. The people at the church, our friends, because they don't know what we experience, what we've been through, because we don't experience the same thing. We are individuals and our pain is different. The way we deal with trauma and struggles is different. And my biggest fear that I always had was being broke. And I was like, I don't care about love. I don't care if people don't love me. But that wasn't true. I was trying to say it over and over again to try to make it true, but it's hurtful because I'm not a good person. I was good by people. I never disrespected my mom. Why doesn't she love me? Why she don't like me? I kept going back to that throughout my life. I didn't want to meet people mothers. I didn't care. I don't care about your mom. I mean, I didn't think moms was good, and it was just like, this is bad. This is not okay. I need to fix this. And I also had issues with my father, but before he died, we rebuilt our relationship. But the issue with my mom, it was like she act like she never remembered the millions of things that she, did in my life. And I'm just like, I just have to let it go because it's gonna kill me. Right. And so how do I take my power back? And how do I change that? And how do I love myself and help the people that I work with love themselves.
Mhm.
We have
Mhm.
girls asking you, Miss, do you think I'm beautiful? And so we start doing this mirror exercise, right? So I have these little mirrors,
Mhm.
these little heart mirrors, and we look in the mirror and we just talk to ourselves. And
Mhm.
sometimes they would break down and cry the first session and run to their rooms. And then
Mm.
have these one-on-ones because we were doing it in groups, and it was just like, why is it so hard? Until you know the backstory. Because you
Right.
can't pick up a file and read about somebody that somebody else wrote and judge these people off of that. And I never agreed with that. So let me get to know you and who you are so we can work towards your self-love journey. And I think that's important.
Right. It's important to understand that it's a journey to go on. That we need to um make sure that we include ourselves, our true selves on the journey.
Yeah.
Because so many times we take that imposter with us. And that imposter will begin to tell you that you are something that you are not. And
Mhm.
when I say it, I mean from the standpoint it will tell you that you're a horrible person and
Yeah.
nobody loves you. And so then, like you were talking about a few minutes ago, then we put up that defense mechanism. Oh well, I don't want nobody to love me anyway. What is love? I'm not gonna love nobody. And trust me, I can say these words like you because these were words that I would utter because it was a defense mechanism because I did not feel loved and didn't know what love was, first of all. So, and then, I want to help people out here today and help us understand that one of the ways that we can navigate through the pain is have an understanding that some people just don't have the capacity to love us
Very
like we deserve to be loved.
good. Mhm.
And tell us, um, when we gonna take a little break in a second, but I just want to talk about real quick breaking this cycle. I think you mentioned it in your when you were talking, but people may not understand that they need to break the cycle for themselves. They keep going on this hamster wheel and spinning and spinning and spinning. But how did you get your heart to match up with your mind and say enough is enough?
Just always being defeated. And it was spilling over into my work life, my personal life, and it goes back to letting go. The process of letting go means releasing anything that you know that no longer serves you, right? Our well-being, our growth, our accomplishments is not working for me. This can include negative thoughts, unhealthy relationships, past traumas, or limited beliefs. Letting go is liberating. It's a liberating process. It feels us, um, it helps us let go of the burdens that hinders our progress, and allow us to move forward with a lighter and more positive outlook on our life. And when you start to do that, and I noticed that I was in this horrible relationship. And at first, like, I don't know why, it took 3 times for us to break up and get back together the third time. I'm like, why am I doing this? So I told him, like, when we broke up after today, I no longer know you. We're not going to be a part of each other's lives. This is the last time you will hear my voice. And then he was like, well, nobody that ever broke up with me ever stopped talking to me. I said, you know what, sweetie, it's the first time for everything. So believe me when I say this is it. And it's been 4 years. And it's going to continue to be that because I didn't talk to my mom for 20 years. And I'm like, who do you think you are? So it's not hard, but it's about that self-healing. And I can't go through the same thing I went through with my mom with someone else. So I just had to just let it go and break free.
Breaking anything is
When I did that, great things start happening in my life. I start moving up in my career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things start happening. I start getting all these gigs. I was able to finish my book and finish things and get into the schools I want to be in, finish my degree programs, get my certifications. And being able to be open to talk to people. So
Right.
to do,
That's like you said, liberating.
yeah.
Liberating. Oh my goodness. I feel the freedom myself. So we're gonna take a little break and we will come right back.
Okay.
Breaking anything is always a challenging process, but life is one big process. A large series of steps we take to achieve a specific goal. Ending a repetitive pattern that is harmful for us is something we must commit to do because we need to show up as our best self and not the trapped imposter. It is time to eliminate some weight. The weight of doubt, shame, and disappointment. Get rid of thoughts of you are not enough. You are more than enough. You can break old patterns that were not the best representation of who you are. From this day forward, begin to pay attention to your patterns of behavior and see if they line up with your goals and dreams. Make sure to commit wholeheartedly to everything you do, intentionally making sure it is beneficial for promoting your growth to greatness. Let's dismantle all cycles that discourage instead of encourage. It is time to live a life in the abundance of love and peace, which will produce healthy habits that will lead us to being our best self. Always be awesome.
All righty. Always be awesome. I'm sure you can. I feel that way every time I'm around you, or we're doing this, what we're doing right now, enlightening the world. I feel like you're always awesome, always have an awesome response. And so tell us, how do you keep that attitude?
Um, I want to be happy. And I said every day in everything I do. So I start my day, like my favorite music is gospel music. But gospel music, no matter my son be in the car, he be like, Mom. I'm like, no. Just to empower yourself to have something good. So even when I'm sleeping, I want to fall asleep with something positive, because things fall into your sleep, if you believe it or not. If you are,
Mhm.
if you're upset, I make it a point to not be reactive. I'm not a reactive person. I try to be understanding, because just because somebody is going through something, you might be the closest thing to them. So they might say something that tries to hurt you, but I don't take it personal. But we're adults and we're going to have this conversation, and I'm not going to let this go.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to be very positive and understanding and respect boundaries, but I cannot allow you to be disrespectful in any kind of way, not even
Right.
a small amount of disrespect, because it gets snowballed and get bigger and bigger, and people don't understand that. So you have to teach people how to treat you. And that's the most important thing,
Well, you
right?
said a
Children,
mouthful right there. Teach
um,
people how to treat you.
you is important.
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
sure that I treat them the way I want to be treated, and in turn, I teach them how to treat me. And I think that's the most important thing in life with human beings. Period.
Right.
No matter how old they are.
Right. And I think if for like you said, it don't matter how old they are, but when people have a demonstration, I'm a firm believer of, if we have something on display that we can actually see what it looks like, then that helps us to be able to navigate our own behavior into something positive. And then we build on it. We just keep building, because that, I think, is a part of being resilient. And I just need you to tell us and tell the world that's listening, why is it so important to be resilient?
Resilience, it's important to be resilient, just to be able to bounce back from adversity and challenges, right? It plays a strong and crucial role in our personal development, and it helps us to stay strong and persistent in the face of difficulties, trauma, um,
Mhm.
just what life hurdles and what life throws at us is very hard. And continue to strive towards our goals with determination and hope. And we have to teach that
Mm.
our young children. We have children, if we work with different people and they see that. Like every single time I talk to you, Stacy, or I'm in your presence, you're always the same. Right. And I never, nobody could tell me anything about Stacy but Stacy. And I'm that type of person. So I can't get secondary information and then I take that upon myself to judge you for that, right? So I'm
Mm,
resilience in everything, in every aspect of my life, with people, the way I treat people, how I view people. And we might have like some difficulties, and if you're going through something, and I know that if I never see you with your head down, I'm like, something's not right with Stacy today, right? But that's
right,
not her.
right.
Just know that, and how to, see that and allow us to adapt, to different people and change.
That's so key that we pay attention to each other,
Mhm.
even in our learning to love ourselves more every day. I think it helps us have empathy and compassion for others.
Yeah.
And when we do know somebody, then and we see something that's just not quite right, we're able to now become their buffer. We're able to now become their strength for that moment, and be encouraging and not allowing them to just fall by the wayside. Do y'all hear me out there? Don't let your friends fall by the wayside. Go check on, go, if you consider yourself a true friend, you will check on the people that you love.
Yes.
Um, and back to love. So, what made you come up with this title, The Power to Change the Way You Love Yourself? I just love saying it.
The power to change the way you love yourself. It was like inspired by the transformative journey that I was witnessing in other people, that I was experiencing, myself. I believe that self love is the foundational to all personal growth. And I think that the word power and change and love and yourself all encompasses in one is something like just really great and empowering, just in those words. um Changing how we love ourselves can impact our lives, and it has like the 10 steps to go along with it, which is
Hmm.
very important. And in the design of the book, I wanted the book cover to be powerful, so you see all those words and broadly, and then it has like
Hmm.
the words acceptance and in the title and everything around the book. So I felt like that was very important, for self forgiveness, because a lot of
Hmm.
times we suffer with that forgiveness part, and we blame ourselves for everything in our life, and it gets that's like, what, it wasn't you, it was me, type of spiel. But it's like, no, it was you. You know?
Right, right. That's when people don't want to tell themselves the truth. That is the first step to liberation.
Yes.
Tell yourself the truth about you,
Yeah.
not nobody else, because we can't live outside of ourselves. I said one time I was talking, I said, I can't wake up tomorrow and be somebody else.
Yes. No.
So I might as well master being me and
Self
be the
mastery.
right, be the best me that I could possibly be. I was in the army for 18 years, and they do have that slogan, be all you can be. So I wanted to be the best of all of who I am. And I think meeting people on this journey like you helps. It helps in the little nuances. How do people move forward? Because you said earlier, were asking yourself the question about your mom, and it's like, now, okay, I got this. So how am I supposed to trust somebody else? How am I supposed to move forward in relationships? How do people do that?
Moving forward, it involves setting clear, achievable goals. And I was just talking to my son about that today, because he's going through, some things. He lives in Texas. He went through the storm. He's young. He's trying to pursue his music career, and just taking those goals into considerations and making steps, right? Clear steps, achievable steps, in the process, having a positive mindset, embracing change, learning from experience, and staying focused on your vision for a future. Focus on the key elements in the process and achieving personal fulfillment. So, if I could show you these text messages me and my son just had about, this making sure that he is moving forward in his life with what he wants to do. And I think
Mhm.
that is important. And he was just saying, Mom, like, I've been trying, I've been doing everything. It's hard. I said, it's not hard. It's hard because you're saying it's hard. And I told him, you can do anything. You can achieve anything. You're great. And you
Mhm.
have to believe that. I can't believe that for you. Right. And then
Yeah.
I want him to write out goals for himself, short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals, and make sure they're achievable and they're realistic. We just had that conversation before today. So I think that it's important to do that. I used to write out a 5-year plan. Not saying your things would change, right?
Mhm.
In your
Mhm.
life. And you can always, revamp that plan and make it fit to where you are in your life because every day we're evolving, right? And our self-love journey continues every day. It's not going to stop,
Right. Right.
right?
It's every day. You're right. 'Cause we're gonna be here every day. Every day that we're here, we need to make sure that we know that we're loved. I'm not gonna just say feel because we
Each
can't always go on a feeling.
every single day we need this. And
Hmm. Yep. You of course you gave your son some great advice, and the acronym is SMART. So they
mhm,
call them SMART goals. And I might mess it up a little bit and put some of Stacy's words in here, but it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and I believe the last one is time.
yeah.
And so give yourself time.
Nothing's gonna happen overnight. I told him he only 22.
Oh,
You haven't lived a life. I said right now I'm just really living a dream that I set for myself. Right at this
mhm,
old age, that's what I told him at this big age. Right, and I never give up. Never when
right,
they tell me, "Oh, you can't do that. That's impossible. That book doesn't fit our platform." I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna make my own." And I
right.
did that. I'm gonna find my people and I'm gonna make it
Mhm.
work. And that's what I did because I never give up on myself. I'm never gonna quit on myself.
Exactly. We talked about that a few seconds ago too before we came on the
Mhm.
air of, you know, let's stop sitting around waiting on somebody else to invite us and come do something. We can create our own
Platform.
platforms.
And that's what we do at Creative Love Network. We create our own platforms and people show up for us because we show up for them.
And you all do a wonderful job in showing up for the people. I have not been in attendance at an event yet that was not power packed, and I almost want to say yummy because there's yummy food too. But you everything is encompassed in your events. Everything, like from the time you walk in the door, people who greet you make you feel welcome. The whole process of going through, go get your food, and they're able to explain to you. Some people, sometimes you can even go to a restaurant and the server can't tell you what's on the menu.
Yes.
It's like, well, okay, why are you here? You need to have it. When y'all had y'all meeting this afternoon, you should have been paying attention, love. But the people who work with you, they know they stuff. They're not coming with half a game, and that, I think, definitely speaks to your leadership level
Mhm.
and the self trust that they have in themselves, but coming from their leader, who I'm sure demonstrates, if not speak about it a lot, demonstrates self trust. So tell us, how do we begin to say, I'm gonna trust myself, trust my gut, trust my heart? Because, like we said earlier, a lot of people don't know who they are. But the first thing they have to do, I believe, is to trust what they hear.
Yeah. So self-trust is confidence in your own abilities, right? We have to have that confidence. That's very important. You can't walk around and not know who you are and believe that this is what I'm doing. I'm going to get that confidence is strong. It needs to be strong. And the judgments and decisions that you make, right? With hiring people, connecting with people, being
Mhm.
on that positive wavelength, with other people requires a positive mindset. I was telling my son that today as well. You have to have a positive mindset in everything you do. Just navigating life challenges, which can be difficult and hard, and something that we all go through at times, making these decisions.
Mhm.
Being honest with ourselves, is very important because we could be, well, I'm gonna get $1 million tomorrow. That's not realistic. Like, how are you gonna do that? I need to know. if
Right, me too. And the rest of the people listening probably think the same thing. How you do that right now? Okay, let's do
Yeah,
it.
your strengths and your weaknesses, because I know I can't do everything. So that's why you need a team of people. And I tell the people this all the time. I got this big catering job with Amazon, and I cooked all the food all day, all night by myself, packed it in the car, drove, not knowing that when I got there, it was going to be a hill. I had to pull this food up, and I'm pulling this cart and almost let go. And I just saw the food oh my God. And I was in so much pain from pulling all this food because food gets heavy when it's in a container. And I
Mhm.
get up there and I'm like, I gotta ask for help. That was my biggest
Mm.
thing, not asking for help. Right? Taking responsibility for our actions is important, right?
Mhm.
Because we all make mistakes. We might say something when it's not the right time to say something, making a joke when somebody is in their feelings, being able to apologize. So
Mhm.
it's important aspect of our life to self-love and empowerment. And yesterday, I felt so great. My other son, my middle son, Andre, was with me. We had an event at this church, and I was catering, and I had a table to sell my books. And his friend came. He invited all his friends, and he was telling them like, my mom wrote this book, and it's about self love. And I know you're having issues with your girlfriend. You should get the book and the workbook. You guys could work together and build your relationship. And I said, go ahead, son. I'm like, okay.
Thank you, hype man.
Thank you. And so I'm up and down the neighborhood trying to get people to come and just talk to them about what's going on. They didn't want to hear it, so I said it's free tacos. So they came and then just getting them engaged because they don't trust people in certain
Right.
areas. They think everybody wants something. So my
Mhm.
son,
Mhm.
Clint, our friend Clint,
Mhm.
John,
Mhm.
he came and he supported, and other people from Creative Love like Genesee. And Clint was selling my books. I'm selling his book. We selling each other. We talk to people. We take pictures. But it's about a community and teamwork, right?
Right.
We always promote each other. Like I reshare your stuff all the time. I think that's important. Like, what are we here for if we're not going to
Right.
support? What are you on social media for if you just can't push that button to share or like
Or
or
like,
comment, right?
it's amazing how when you run into people, I'm sure it happens to you, and they're like, "Oh, I see you. What you doing on social media? You're doing some good stuff out there." And I'm like, "Okay, well, how come you just can't not hit the
Yeah.
like button? It's okay." And actually, sometimes I have to catch myself because you get on that zombie zone of scroll,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm sitting up there, I'm laughing at stuff, and I'm like, "No, back up,
But
like
you
it."
know what I made a habit of? Taking time out to go on there a few times to just like people's stuff, share people's stuff, comment on people's stuff. So I start making that a habit because I'm like, I want people to do that for me and support me. So if I can't show support in person, I'm gonna show it on social media.
Right, right. Y'all hear that? Make it a habit. Put some good habits in place. Stop doing the same thing over and over again. Let's change. Uh-oh, there's that word. You just gave us the power to change out at one more than one behavior, but we're talking about this specific one at the moment. You just gave us the tool. which gives us the power because we got something to work with now and we can put some effort in it. And I found that in physics, effort and energy equal power.
Yes.
And so since we have the power, let's make each other feel good. Let's be the demonstration that we want others to look like, show people what it looks like. And I know that I had somewhere to ask you, what does it look like? And then once you tell us that, tell us how we can find your book, where you at on social media. Tell us what it looks like when we begin to demonstrate that we love ourselves.
It looks like happiness looks like you're always smiling. You always have this calmness about yourself. Like everywhere I go, people talk to me, right? They was like, you just have this welcoming, spirit, this vibe, They were like, you are, if I talk, you're not from here. And I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, you're not rude. I'm like, well, I choose not to be that way. Like I choose to be a good person. And I just tell them about like how I set my life out to be. And I feel like if you to continue to love yourself and you're on this journey, good things will come to you. Like I get phone calls all the time about doing events or people want to invite you here. Or I had a couple of people, I went on another radio show and the radio host, she purchased 5 book boxes for me, no 6, and just doing those things and encouraging people and being your true authentic self, right? Unapologetically, because it's tough because we always apologizing for everything that we do, but we don't have the same beliefs. We don't share the same struggles all the time. It may be similar. We have similar backgrounds that I can share with you, but I can't say that I can 100% put myself in your shoes because I haven't been there, and just recognizing that, we all need something from each other. And I want to be a support system for anybody that would allow me to, and vice versa. But it goes 2 ways. So I'm not going to keep supporting you if you never support me. Yeah. It can't be one-sided relationship or one-sided, support. And we try to make sure you just show up and have that team and circle of people that do the same thing. And like you said earlier, Stacy, making sure you are checking on your people. Even if they look like they're doing okay. Okay, I don't always have great days. Sometimes, I might be thinking about certain things or just going through something that I want to change and it's taking longer than I wanted to, right? And I need encouragement. We all need a boost of encouragement.
Yes, ma'am. We definitely do. I do know, there are some times when I'm like looking around going, okay, you didn't encourage all these people. Now you need some encouragement. Where you gonna get it from?
Yeah,
And then sometimes we do have to make sure that we put something on reserve so that when there isn't another physical person around, we can go within
yes,
and pull it out.
With people touching me and hugging me, but I'm like, I have to get over that. Like everything that I had an issue with, I was scared to get on planes. I was scared to get on a boat, scared to venture out. And I'm like, I got to get over these fears. So once you start doing that and facing your fears and living out your dream, what you want to do, and not allowing people to say, that's not going to work. Yes, it is. It's going to work for me because I believe it's going to work.
Right. Exactly. That's all that matters.
My book don't fit their platform. Well, it fits somebody's. And somebody needs it, right?
It sure does. And on that note, I actually want to read something from your book, The Power of Self-Acceptance. It's on page 155, because a lot of people are afraid to accept themselves because of something that somebody else told us.
Mm-hmm.
They told us that we should be this or that, and deep and within we know that's not who I am. So we have to learn truly how to accept ourselves. And it says, the power of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is a profound act of self-love. It's the recognition that you are inherently valuable just as you are, regardless of your imperfections. It's about silencing the inner critic and acknowledging that you deserve love, respect, and kindness from yourself first and foremost.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't neglect yourself. Love yourself. Tell us where people can find the book and how can they get cut in contact with you.
Okay, you can find the book on Amazon. All my books are on Amazon. The Power to Change the Way That You Love Yourself, 10 Steps to Self-Love. And then we have the journal, same title, but it's journal. Then the workbook and the affirmation book, all on Amazon. Barnes and Nobles, all different platforms. You can also go to www.creativelovenetwork.com. And to reach me, you can reach me at Andrea@creativelovenetwork.com, on social media at coach_a.lee or Creative Love Network. I have a lot of social media. And also on Facebook and LinkedIn at Coach A.Lee. Can I
Well,
share a poem before we end?
oh, absolutely. Go right ahead.
The Power to Love. It took time to find out what love really is. A journey within, through shadow I searched. I dug deep down beyond the surface and found me, to unearth the truths only I could see. I took time to learn myself properly, each flaw, each scar, each dream, and decree. I forced my fears and faced them, and embraced my pain through storms and sun, through loss and gain. And there, in a quiet and relevant space, the heart of my soul, a new world, my true love, not distant, not out of reach, but within, a bond only I could teach. For love's greatest power lies within my self-embrace. To change the way I love myself is to see the most profound love begins with me. The power to change the way I love myself. A.Lee.
Woo! Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for coming on here on Tools for Everyday Living and sharing your love with us, because that's where it comes from. That's what I feel. I feel like you just shared a whole bundle of love with us so that we could find the love within ourselves. And I so appreciate that. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for the viewers. I never want to take you all for granted. I am immensely grateful that you show up here on Fridays to watch us on Tools for Everyday Living at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is my pleasure to serve you. And again, Coach A.Lee, you are phenomenal. I have a friend of mine that I told her, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. We're going to take the PH off because I'm going to add the F on your phenomenal way of demonstrating who you are in the earth. I so appreciate you. I love you, sis. And love you all out there. Anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yes, thank you so much for having me and embracing me and being your true, authentic self, and also showing that self-love. And I appreciate you and love you as well. I appreciate all the viewers. Make sure you stay tuned to Stacey Bullock. She always has something great for us all.
Oh, thank you. Don't make me cry now. All right, we'll see y'all next Friday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care. Always be awesome.
Have you found yourself wondering, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Recognizing the stranger in the mirror is the book for you. It helps us to unravel the mystery of who you really are, revealing your life's passion and why you should unveil the real you to the world. We need you. You are valuable and necessary for those who are connected to you. Do not be afraid to peek in and discover all your gifts and talents to share. It's real freedom when we reveal our authenticity. Stacey Bullock is a 2-time best-selling author, transformational speaker, and host of Tools for Everyday Living TV show. She is committed to igniting resilience, personal transformation, and building life skills of her audiences and clients. The author of 2 previously written self-help books, Beaten Oil and Regain Power Through Resilience, Don't Let Your Brain Go Numb. Stacey imparts lessons that teaches readers to utilize their light as a guide for others and discovering inner strength and resiliency to bounce back when life throws curveballs. Stacey may be reached for speaking engagements, leadership and employee training, and life skills coaching via her email at stacey@powerandresilience.com.